The great hall of the Star Hive was filled with golden light from the twin suns outside. The walls were made of crystal that shone like mirrors. Everything inside the hall looked bright, clean, and grand. The air was quiet except for the soft hum of the machines that gave power to the palace. At the center of the hall stood Queen Vera, ruler of the Star Hive Empire. She was tall, graceful, and her skin shimmered like silver glass. Her eyes glowed softly with golden light. Her royal armor, which she always wore in public, was cracked across the chest. The armor was not an ordinary suit. It was said to be sacred, a gift from the First Light, the ancient force that guided her people. No one was allowed to touch it. Not her guards, not her servants, not even the royal engineers. Only the queen herself. Now that sacred armor had been touched. Even worse, it had been repaired. The queen looked down at the crack that once threatened the suit's energy core. The break was gone. Instead, a faint silver line ran across the golden surface, glowing with a light her people did not recognize. The armor's internal systems pulsed smoothly. The life support unit inside her chest worked better than before. She raised her head slowly and spoke in a calm, steady voice that made everyone in the hall stop breathing for a moment. "Who touched my suit?" Her words echoed across the chamber. The guards, who stood like statues around the walls, glanced at one another. The royal attendants froze in place. The alien technicians lowered their eyes to the floor. No one dared to move. No one dared to speak. The queen's voice grew colder. Who dared to lay hands on it? No answer came. Among her people, the armor was more than protection. It was a living symbol of power and purity. Touching it without permission was not only forbidden, it was unthinkable. Yet the proof was before them. Someone had not only touched it but repaired it using a strange metal unknown to the hive. The queen's golden eyes scanned the hall again. She could feel the energy of the suit flowing perfectly, better than before. Whoever had done this knew what they were doing. Finally, a soft voice spoke from the far end of the room. "I did, my queen." All eyes turned to see a human step forward. He was not tall like the insectoid guards or shining like the crystal-skinned attendants. He was simple in appearance, with brown eyes, a calm face, and hands covered in faint marks of work. His name was Ravi, an engineer from the human colony worlds. Ravi was one of the few humans living inside the Star Hive. His people had joined the Hive Empire only a few years ago, offering technology and trade in exchange for protection. Humans were known for their skill with machines and their strange way of solving problems quickly. Ravi walked slowly to the center of the hall. The guards tensed but did not stop him. He stopped a short distance from the queen and bowed slightly. "I repaired your armor," he said quietly. "It was damaged after the reactor surge yesterday." The hall filled with whispers. The aliens spoke in their native tones, a mix of clicks, hums, and soft buzzing. None could believe a human had touched the sacred armor. The queen looked at him with calm eyes. "You touched something no one has ever dared to touch. Do you know what that means?" Ravi nodded. "Yes, my queen. Then why did you do it?" she asked. Her voice held no anger, only curiosity. Ravi looked up. "Because the damage was spreading. The life support system inside your armor was close to failure. If it stopped, you would have been in danger." The hall went silent. The queen tilted her head slightly, studying him. "You understand that even saving me does not give you the right to touch the sacred armor?" "I understand," he said softly. "But I could not stand by and watch it fail when I could fix it." She stepped down from her dais and walked closer to him. The light from her armor reflected off his face. She stopped only a few steps away. "Tell me what you did." Ravi took a slow breath. "Your armor uses energy crystals to move power through the circuits. One of them broke when the surge hit. I replaced that section with a human alloy made from titanium and nanofibers. It is stronger and more stable under heat. It blended well with your crystal metal." The queen's eyes narrowed slightly. "And you did this without permission?" "Yes, my queen. Were you not afraid?" Ravi thought for a moment and said, "I was, but not as much as I was afraid of losing you." A murmur went through the hall. The queen looked at him in silence for a long time. Her armor continued to glow softly. For the first time since the surge, it felt alive again. The systems worked perfectly. The connection between her mind and the suit was smoother, faster, almost natural. She turned her head slightly. "Terran," she said. A tall alien with dark blue scales stepped forward. He was the royal advisor. "Yes, my queen. What do you sense from the armor?" she asked. Taryn raised a small scanner. The screen showed smooth lines of energy. It functions at 120% of normal strength, my queen. The energy flow is pure and stable. Vera looked back at the human. You changed my sacred armor, yet it is stronger than ever. None of my people could do this. Ravi bowed his head. It was simple work. I just saw what needed to be done. She studied him in silence again. Then she said quietly, Leave him. No punishment. Taryn looked surprised. My queen, that goes against enough, she said calmly. If I punished him, I would punish skill and courage. He saved my life, and I will not forget that. The guards lowered their weapons. Ravi bowed again and left the hall quietly. When the door closed behind him, the hall slowly came back to life. The attendants whispered among themselves. The queen sat down on her throne again, still thoughtful. Later that night, Ravi worked alone in his small workshop near the energy sector. The room was quiet except for the faint sound of tools clicking together. On the table lay a small piece of the alloy he had used to repair the armor. It was silver with a faint blue shine. He turned it over in his hands and smiled. Their crystal metal and our alloy merged perfectly, he said softly. Maybe our worlds can too. He placed the piece back on the table and looked out through the window at the bright stars. Somewhere up there, the queen sat in her palace, alive and safe. In her chamber, Queen Vera stood before a holographic image of her armor. She traced her finger along the line where human metal met alien crystal. She could feel the pulse of energy under her skin, steady and smooth. Taryn entered quietly. My queen, he said carefully. The human's work is impressive, but you must remember our law. No one outside the royal caste may touch the sacred suit. I know, she said softly. But tell me, Taryn, could any of our best engineers have repaired it like this? Taryn lowered his head. No, my queen. Vera looked at the glowing armor. Then perhaps our laws have been too closed for too long. My queen, he is only human. Their kind is clever, but they lack our wisdom. She smiled slightly. Wisdom without curiosity is empty, Taryn. That human saw a problem and fixed it without fear. I admire that, Taryn did not reply. He bowed and left the chamber. The queen stood alone. She looked again at the place where Ravi's alloy had been fused into her armor. The line between alien and human metal was seamless. The suit felt more alive than ever before. For a long time she stood there in silence, thinking of the young human who had dared to act when everyone else hesitated. In her long reign, few had ever surprised her. But this one had. She closed her eyes and whispered to herself, The human touched what no one else would, and because of that I still stand. Outside, the stars of the hive burned bright against the dark sky. The energy of the palace shimmered through the air like music. Far below in his small workshop, Ravi sat watching the same stars. Neither of them knew it yet, but the act that had joined alien crystal and human metal together had also started something much larger. It was the beginning of a story that would change the star hive forever. The queen would remember his courage, and the human would one day learn that his small act of repair had touched more than just armor. It had touched a heart that had never been moved before. And so on that quiet night under twin suns, two very different beings were bound by a single act of trust. The next morning, the Starhive Palace was bathed in the soft light of twin suns. Crystal towers shimmered, reflecting sunlight in thousands of colors. Deep within the palace, Queen Vera sat upon her throne, still thinking about the human engineer who had repaired her armor. Her armor pulsed with energy, stronger than ever. Yet something strange had begun to happen. Tiny ripples of light moved along the armor's surface, almost like they were alive. The energy core was stable, but it hummed with a new rhythm, one that Vera did not recognize. Taryn, her royal advisor, entered the chamber. His dark blue scales glimmered in the sunlight. My queen, the energy readings from your suit are unusual. It seems to be generating power beyond expected levels. Vira's golden eyes narrowed. I felt it last night. The suit is not only repaired, it is different. Stronger, faster. There is intelligence in its flow now. Taryn stepped closer. Do you think it is the work of the human? Vera turned to him. I do not know, Taryn. But if it is, then this human is more remarkable than I first realized. Bring him to me. Taryn hesitated. My queen, summoning a human to the royal chamber is dangerous. Others may question this. Vera's gaze was firm. I will decide what is dangerous and what is not. Go quickly. Ravi was in his workshop when Taryn arrived. The human engineer was examining the tools he had used to repair the armor. The soft hum of energy from the workshop made him feel at peace. A guard led him into the grand hall. The humans were few in number among the hive, and most looked uneasy in the vast space. Ravi walked carefully, bowing slightly to the alien attendants and guards who lined the hall. At the center, Queen Vera waited. Her golden eyes were calm, but her armor glimmered with a soft new light. "You are the human who repaired my armor," she said. Ravi bowed again. "Yes, my queen. I only wanted to make sure you were safe." Vera studied him closely. "You acted without permission. You touched what is sacred to my people. Why should I not see this as an offense?" Ravi stood tall. "Because if I had not acted, the armor would have failed. You could have been injured." Her eyes softened slightly. "You risked yourself and my life. Few among my people would have dared to do so. Yet the armor is not only repaired, it is evolving." Ravi tilted his head. "Evolving?" "Yes," she said. She extended her hand. "I want you to touch it again. Only you may help me understand this change." Ravi looked at her, unsure. Touching the armor in the presence of the queen was a privilege no one had ever been given twice. Yet he could see the trust in her eyes. He stepped forward slowly. When his hand touched the golden armor, a warm sensation spread through his fingers. Tiny sparks of light traced the line where human metal had fused with alien crystal. The armor's systems hummed in response, as if recognizing his presence. Vera watched carefully. "The energy flow is unlike anything I have felt. It responds to your touch as if it knows you." Ravi frowned. "It is unusual. The alloy and crystal are bonded, but the energy pattern is intelligent. It adapts to my hands. This is not normal for alien technology or human metals." The queen studied him closely. "Then tell me, human, do you understand why this happened?" Ravi shook his head slowly. "No, my queen, I only repaired it as best I could. I did not expect this result." Vera stepped closer. "It is as I suspected. Your mind and your hands carry something my people do not possess. You see solutions where we see only limits. Perhaps that is why the armor responded so strongly to you." Ravi felt a mixture of pride and fear. Humans were often underestimated in the hive, seen as clever but fragile. Now the queen was not only acknowledging his skill, she was trusting him in a way no alien had ever trusted a human before. The hum of the armor grew louder. Light traced intricate patterns across its surface. Tiny, circular symbols glowed softly, as if a language of energy had awakened inside it. Vera's eyes widened. "These symbols, they were not here before. They are part of the suit's memory, and yet they respond to your touch. Human, do you think you triggered them?" Ravi examined the symbols carefully. "It is possible, my queen. The alloy may have connected circuits in a new way. Your crystal technology is advanced, but the combination with human materials could create patterns you have never seen." The queen nodded slowly. "Then we must understand this together. You will stay here and work with my engineers to study the armor." Ravi hesitated. "I will help, my queen, but I do not want to overstep." Vera's golden eyes were firm. "You have already done more than any other could do. You will work here and you will advise me. Your knowledge is needed." Terran stepped forward. "My queen, may I suggest a study chamber? The energy readings could be dangerous if uncontrolled." Vera waved her hand. "Set it up. Bring the necessary instruments. We will begin immediately." Ravi followed the advisors to a large chamber filled with alien machinery and glowing energy conduits. He was surprised at the scale of the equipment.
Alien technology was unlike anything humans had built.
Circuits ran in 3 dimensions, lights pulsed in patterns across the walls, and energy flowed in ribbons through the air. Vera stepped into the chamber with him. Her armor glowed brightly, and the patterns of energy seemed to follow her movement. "Watch carefully," she said. "The suit is alive, but its intelligence is new. It reacts not only to me, but to you as well." Ravi approached the armor again, touching it lightly. Streams of light ran from his fingertips into the golden surface. The hum of the suit rose and fell like a living heartbeat. Symbols moved and changed, creating new shapes that seemed to tell a story. Terran observed silently, his scanner capturing every movement. The human's touch is stabilizing the energy flow. It is adapting to him in real time. Vera's voice was thoughtful. "It is learning from him. The human mind is shaping the armor. This is extraordinary." Ravi felt the energy move through him, warm and steady. He realized the suit was not only repaired, but evolving to a higher state. It had recognized the human alloy, his hands, and his problem-solving instincts. The combination was creating something new. Queen Vera, he said. The suit is responding to more than just my touch. It seems to be aware of intent. If we guide it carefully, we can unlock its full potential. The Queen's eyes glowed. Then we will guide it together. You will teach my people what you know, human. We will learn from each other. Ravi nodded, feeling both nervous and honored. He had never imagined that a small act of repair would lead to this. The armor had changed his life as much as it had changed the Queen's. For the next few hours, Ravi worked alongside the Hive engineers. They observed his techniques, learning how to combine human alloy with alien crystal circuits. The Queen remained in the chamber, watching the energy patterns shift and change. As night fell over the star hive, the chamber glowed with soft golden light. The energy streams flowed calmly, no longer chaotic. The suit had adapted to Ravi's work, and the Queen could feel its strength growing inside her. Terran approached Vera quietly. My Queen, I have never seen anything like this. The human has changed the armor fundamentally. Vera's golden eyes reflected the glow of her suit. Yes, Terran. He has shown us that skill and courage are not limited to our kind. Perhaps the future of the hive is greater than we imagined. Outside, the twin suns had set, leaving the sky filled with stars. Ravi stood in the chamber, exhausted but exhilarated. He had touched the Queen's armor again and discovered something far beyond his expectations. Queen Vera approached him. Human, you have done well today. Tomorrow we will continue. Your work is not yet finished, Ravi bowed. I am ready, my Queen. The Queen smiled faintly. For the first time, she felt that humans might be more than allies or servants. They could be partners. They could help her empire reach heights her people had never imagined. The bond between human and Queen had begun. One simple act of courage had sparked a connection that could change the star hive forever. And far above, the stars continued to shine, as if witnessing the beginning of a new era. The star hive pulsed with life beneath the twin suns. Crystal towers reflected sunlight in countless colors, making the entire city glow like a living jewel. Yet inside the palace, something unusual was happening. Queen Vera walked through the halls with measured steps. Her armor hummed quietly, the new energy patterns from the human engineer's repair still pulsing like a heartbeat. She could feel the intelligence inside her suit growing stronger. The armor was no longer only a protective shell. It seemed aware, responsive, and curious. Terran, her advisor, approached carefully. His dark blue scales shone faintly in the light. My Queen, energy readings across the hive are unusual. Some sectors are showing unstable flows. It is not dangerous yet, but it is spreading. Vira stopped, her golden eyes narrowing. Where did it start? Near the lower energy conduits in the industrial sectors, Terran replied. I believe it may be linked to the repair you permitted yesterday. The human's alloy may have interacted with the hive's crystal networks in ways we do not fully understand. Vera's gaze shifted upward, through the vast ceiling made of transparent crystal. Bring the human to me immediately. He must see this. Ravi was in his workshop examining the alloy sample from the Queen's armor. He had been working quietly since dawn, refining methods to blend human metal with alien circuits. Suddenly, Terran's voice echoed through the communication panel. Ravi, the Queen requests your presence in the central chamber. The energy flows are rising. She requires your expertise. Ravi felt a surge of excitement mixed with apprehension. He quickly gathered his tools and followed the escort to the chamber. When he entered, Queen Vera was already there, standing in the center of a holographic energy grid. The chamber glowed with a soft golden light, reflecting off her armor. Streams of energy extended outward from her, spreading across the display in all directions. Human, she said, her voice calm but firm. We are facing an anomaly. The energy network across the hive is shifting unpredictably. I believe your repair may have caused this or perhaps unlocked it. You must help me understand it. Ravi approached carefully, examining the grid. Tiny symbols similar to the ones on her armor pulsed along the energy lines. They moved faster than any normal flow he had ever seen. These symbols, he said, they are like the patterns in your armor. It is responding to something. But I cannot tell what it wants. The Queen's golden eyes glimmered. Perhaps it wants to learn, as my suit did. But if we do not guide it, the energy could destabilize parts of the hive. Ravi nodded. Then we need to trace its path and understand how it spreads. I can help, but we need access to the main conduits. Vera extended her hand. You will have access. Every sector of the hive is yours to study. You may command the engineers as you see fit. Ravi's eyes widened slightly. The responsibility was enormous. A single mistake could endanger thousands of lives, and the Queen herself was connected to the energy network. Yet he felt a thrill of purpose. He followed her to the lower sectors of the hive. The industrial corridors were vast and complex, lined with crystal conduits that carried energy in streams visible to the eye. Some sections glowed irregularly, flickering with strange patterns. Ravi knelt to examine one of the conduits. He reached out and touched it lightly. Energy flowed into his fingertips, warm and alive. The symbols appeared again, shifting quickly along the crystal paths. "It is not just random," he said. "It is moving with intention. Something is guiding it." A small crystal drone hovered nearby, scanning the conduit. "Sensors indicate that the flow is adapting to my presence," the drone reported. Ravi frowned. "Like my touch in the Queen's armor. The energy is responding to those who interact with it." "But why now? Why has it spread beyond the armor?" Vera stepped closer. "Perhaps it has learned from the armor and seeks to extend itself. My suit is connected to the hive's energy network. Your repair may have awakened it." Ravi glanced at her. "Awakened it?" "Yes," she said, her golden eyes steady. "It may be evolving like my armor did. But unlike the armor, this energy is larger than one suit. It spans the entire hive. We must guide it carefully, or it could overwhelm the systems." Ravi took a deep breath. "Then we will treat it like a living system. We study it, understand its patterns, and guide it to stability. I need a map of the conduits and full access to the central control nodes." The Queen nodded. "It is yours. Use all the resources of the hive. I trust you to lead this effort." For the next several hours, Ravi worked alongside hive engineers. He traced the energy through the conduits, noting where the unusual flows appeared. He instructed engineers to carefully regulate power in specific nodes, guiding the energy without forcing it. Slowly, the chaotic flickers began to align into recognizable patterns. Vera watched closely. "Human, it responds to your direction as it did in the armor. Your understanding of intention is guiding it." Ravi paused. "It is not just following commands. It is learning from us. Every adjustment we make teaches it something new." "This is more than repair, it is teaching." Terran spoke from the side. "My Queen, if this energy continues to learn from humans, it may develop capabilities beyond our control. Should we limit its exposure?" Vera considered this. "No, we cannot limit growth for fear of change. We must guide it wisely. This is the same lesson the human taught me about courage and action. The energy must learn in order to grow." Ravi smiled faintly. "Then we guide it like a student, not a tool. Let it evolve under supervision. We can observe its patterns and understand its rules." As the day progressed, the energy began to stabilize under Ravi's guidance. The strange symbols became regular, flowing smoothly across the conduits. Yet new patterns emerged, small sparks that pulsed in directions no one had predicted. Vera approached Ravi. "Human, the energy is learning beyond what you expected. It is curious, intelligent, and adaptive. Does it have a mind of its own?" Ravi shook his head. "Not a mind as we know it, my Queen, but it is capable of responding creatively to stimuli. If we treat it like a living system, it may grow into something extraordinary, but we must be careful." Vera nodded slowly. "Then we will continue to study it. You will remain with me, human. Your mind and your hands are the only ones who can guide this energy safely." Hours turned into night and Ravi worked tirelessly. Engineers followed his instructions, carefully regulating conduits, monitoring energy flows, and recording every detail. The energy began to harmonize with the hive, creating a faint glow across the palace as it pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat of the entire city. Vera observed quietly. "This is remarkable. My armor awakened something that may redefine our hive. Human, your courage and skill have not only saved my life but may shape the future of all of us." Ravi looked at her. "I only did what I could to help, my Queen, but this is something new. It belongs to all of us now. If we guide it well, it could make life better for everyone in the hive." The Queen smiled faintly. "You have shown that understanding, courage, and skill are not limited by species. This energy is a symbol of what can be achieved when we learn from each other." As the first light of dawn touched the star hive, the energy anomaly was no longer a threat. It pulsed calmly, guided by Ravi's hands and the Queen's presence. The hive had survived the first test, and something extraordinary had begun. a partnership between human ingenuity and alien tradition, creating harmony where no one had expected it. Ravi felt a sense of pride, but also a sense of wonder. He had touched the Queen's armor and awakened the energy. Now he was part of a larger purpose. Vera placed her hand on his shoulder gently. Tomorrow we explore its potential further. This is only the beginning, human. You and I have started a journey that will change everything. Ravi nodded. I am ready, my queen. We will guide it together. The stars of the hive city shone above, reflecting the light of twin suns. A new era had begun, not just for the queen, not just for humans, but for the entire star hive. The human who had dared to touch the queen's armor had now touched the energy of the entire empire. And as the night faded into dawn, the hive slept peacefully, unaware that a small act of courage had sparked something that would shape the future forever. The star hive was quiet in the early hours of the morning. Crystal corridors reflected soft sunlight, and the air smelled faintly of energy and metal. For a time, the energy anomaly that Ravi had helped stabilize seemed calm. The conduits glowed steadily, and the queen's armor pulsed like a heartbeat in rhythm with the hive itself. But subtle changes were beginning. Small areas in the lower sectors flickered with unusual light. Machines hummed differently and drones reported inconsistent readings. No damage had occurred, yet something in the network felt restless. Queen Vera walked through the central chamber. Her golden eyes examined every holographic display. The glowing lines of energy seemed calm on the screens, yet her instincts told her otherwise. Terran, she said quietly, these readings are not ordinary fluctuations. There is something moving through our network, but it does not belong to the hive. It is intelligent. Terran hesitated. My queen, could it be a system error? Perhaps a misalignment in the conduits? Vera shook her head. I have ruled out every error. This is deliberate. Something is exploring the hive's network, seeking patterns, learning. It may be linked to the energy we stabilized yesterday. Terran's eyes widened. Do you think it is connected to the human's repair? The queen nodded. It is possible. The alloy may have introduced a new pathway. We must investigate carefully before taking any action. Ravi was in the workshop examining an energy sample from the queen's armor. The alloy and crystal interface continued to perform perfectly, but small traces of energy flowed differently than expected. His instincts told him that something in the hive was reacting. A drone hovered nearby. Engineer Ravi. Unusual activity detected in sectors 3 and 4. Energy streams are behaving unpredictably. Suggest immediate assessment, Ravi's brow furrowed. Show me the pattern. The drone projected a holographic map of the lower sectors. Streams of energy moved in swirling shapes, almost like currents in water. Some streams bent around machinery. Others flowed into areas they had never reached before. It is exploring, Ravi said slowly. It is learning how the network works, trying different routes, observing the systems. This is not dangerous yet, but it could become unstable if it reaches the core. He grabbed his tools and activated a mobile energy scanner. I need to follow it directly. Terran said I can have full access, so I will trace its path through the conduits. Ravi moved quickly through the lower sectors, following the glowing lines of energy. The conduits twisted and turned in complex patterns, but the human's keen understanding of machines allowed him to predict the flow. The energy pulsed around him like a living current, brushing against his hands when he touched the crystal surfaces. He paused at a junction where several streams met. Tiny sparks danced across the walls. This is new, he murmured. It has combined multiple paths. The energy is adapting to itself. Suddenly, a bright flash surged through the conduits. Machines nearby powered down briefly, then restarted. Ravi felt a small shock of energy ripple through his gloves. It is testing the limits, he said aloud. It wants to see what it can do without breaking anything. A small squad of engineers arrived following his instructions. Ravi explained calmly. We do not stop it. We guide it. Let it explore, but keep barriers ready in case it becomes unstable. It is learning, not rebelling. Meanwhile, Queen Vera observed from the central chamber. She felt the pulse of energy in her armor, now connected more strongly to the hive than ever before. It moved with purpose, as if it understood the presence of life in the hive. The energy is not random, she said to Terran. It reacts to the living beings around it. It is cautious but curious, just like a child learning about its world. Terran clicked softly. My queen, if it is intelligent, should we attempt communication? Perhaps it can understand our guidance directly. Vera considered this. Yes, but carefully. The human has taught us patience. Let him lead the effort. He understands intention, which is more powerful than control. She sent a message to Ravi. Human, return to the central chamber. Your guidance is needed. Ravi arrived quickly. The chamber hummed with energy, and the glowing streams formed intricate, swirling patterns above the floor. He examined the readings and realized the energy was forming loops, almost like a thought process. It is thinking, he said aloud. Not like we do, but it experiments and adapts. I need to approach it differently. Vera stepped beside him. How will you do that? Ravi touched a control panel, sending a small pulse into the energy network. The stream shifted slightly in response. We give it a safe path to explore. We guide it like a teacher guiding a student. Let it learn, but show it boundaries. The queen watched quietly as Ravi manipulated the flows. He carefully adjusted the conduits, creating loops and channels that allowed the energy to move freely without reaching critical areas. The glowing lines began to stabilize, though still vibrant and alive. Taryn observed silently. My queen, the human is showing that guidance can achieve what control cannot. Perhaps we underestimated humans' understanding of living systems. Vera smiled faintly. Yes, Taryn. He sees patterns and intentions where we see only rules. That is why he has my trust. Hours passed as Ravi worked tirelessly with the engineers. Slowly, the energy learned its boundaries. It moved through the conduits without causing damage, adapting its flow with elegance. The symbols within the energy pulsed rhythmically, now clearly responding to Ravi's guidance and the queen's presence. At one point, the energy slowed, as if hesitating. Ravi studied the readings. It wants feedback. It is unsure if the paths we provide are correct. We must show it that these boundaries are safe and beneficial. Vera placed her hand on the control console. Human, it feels my connection. Use it to teach, not force, Ravi nodded. He sent another pulse through the network. The energy responded with a bright surge, then settled into smooth, flowing lines. It was no longer chaotic. The anomaly had become a harmonious system. The queen's armor pulsed in time with the energy. It has accepted guidance. It has learned the first lesson, she said quietly. Ravi smiled. Yes, my queen, and it will continue to learn. We must remain patient, observe, and guide carefully. Its potential is extraordinary. Taryn clicked softly. My queen, the human has not only stabilized the energy but has demonstrated that understanding can shape intelligence. This is remarkable, Vera nodded. Indeed. Courage, skill, and insight are not limited to one species. The energy, like humans, learns from those who act wisely and patiently. As night fell over the hive, Ravi stood in the central chamber with Queen Vera and Taryn. The energy flowed gently, lighting the chamber with a soft golden glow. The glowing symbols shifted rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat, and the conduits pulsed with life. Ravi took a deep breath. It is stable for now. The anomaly has become a partner, not a threat. We must continue to guide it, but it has learned to coexist with the hive. Vera placed her hand gently on his shoulder. You have done more than save my armor or stabilize the network. You have shown that intelligence can be nurtured, not forced. You have taught us all a valuable lesson. Ravi bowed. I only acted as I could, my queen. But the energy responded because it recognized intent. That is what matters. We treat it with respect and it will respond in kind. The queen nodded. Then we continue. Together, we will guide this energy, explore its potential, and learn from it. This is only the beginning. As the stars of the hive shone above, Ravi looked out through the crystal walls. He realized that a single act of courage had not only saved a queen's life, but had awakened a force greater than any of them had imagined. And in that moment, a bond was solidified between human and queen, between intention and energy, and between different worlds learning to work together. The hive had survived the first test of this new intelligence. The challenges ahead were unknown, but Ravi and Queen Vera knew that together, they could face whatever came next. The star hive had never been so alive. Its crystal towers shone under the twin suns, reflecting golden light across the palace halls. The energy anomaly, once unstable, now flowed smoothly through the conduits, responding to the guidance of Ravi and the watchful presence of Queen Vera. Yet, despite its stability, the queen sensed something more. Her armor pulsed with a deeper rhythm, one that was stronger, wiser, and aware. It was as if the energy had learned not only from Ravi, but from her as well. It had grown beyond the hive's machines and now seemed to reach toward the very heart of the empire. Human, she said, her golden eyes glowing. The energy is ready for the next step. It has learned from guidance, but it must now demonstrate its full potential. Are you prepared? Ravi adjusted his tools and nodded. I am ready, my queen. We will guide it carefully. I can feel that it wants to do more, but it must be controlled so no harm comes to the hive. Vera stepped closer. Then we begin. The central chamber had been cleared and prepared for the final test. Holographic displays surrounded the room, showing every conduit in the hive. Engineers moved quietly, following Ravi's instructions, monitoring the energy's behavior from every angle. Ravi approached the queen's armor. The golden suit glowed brightly, its surface shimmering with the lines of human alloy and alien crystal. The symbols that had first appeared during the repair now glowed steadily, forming complex patterns that pulsed with life. It recognizes my touch, Ravi murmured. The energy and the suit are connected more than ever. Whatever we attempt now, they will act together. Vera nodded, then guide it forward. Show it how to expand safely. Ravi activated the control panel, sending a soft pulse into the network. Immediately, the energy surged, flowing through the conduits with increased speed and precision. Streams of golden light spread across the hive like rivers, weaving between buildings, machinery, and crystal towers. The queen's armor pulsed in perfect rhythm with the streams. It was clear that the energy was responding to her presence as well. Each movement of her hands directed the flow, and each pulse of her heartbeat strengthened it. Look at that, Ravi said softly. It is balancing itself, expanding without breaking the system. It has learned restraint as well as movement. The engineers watched in awe as the energy flowed smoothly across the hive. Areas that had once flickered unpredictably now glowed steadily. The anomaly had transformed into a harmonious force, alive yet disciplined. Suddenly, a bright pulse shot from the main conduit and hovered in the air like a living shape. It formed a complex pattern, twisting and turning in ways no machine could replicate. The golden lines shimmered like threads of light. Vera's eyes widened. It is showing us intelligence. It is aware of our actions and responding creatively. Ravi studied the formation. It is like a dance. It is experimenting with its capabilities, but it is not destructive. This is remarkable. I have never seen energy behave this way before. Terran stepped closer, his eyes fixed on the display. My queen, the human, has done more than stabilize it. He has helped the hive discover a new form of life within our own energy systems. Vera nodded slowly. Yes, Terran. And this life is a reflection of courage, wisdom, and guidance. The human who touched my armor has taught us all that understanding and patience can awaken potential beyond imagination. Ravi guided the energy into several loops, creating safe pathways for it to expand further. The streams followed perfectly, pulsing in harmony with the queen's armor. Symbols moved across the surface like a language of light, forming new patterns as the energy experimented with its abilities. It is learning faster than I expected, Ravi said. It adapts to every new channel, every instruction. If we continue carefully, it could stabilize the entire hive network permanently. Vira stepped closer to him. Human, this is why I trusted you. You saw potential where others saw danger. You acted without fear and with wisdom. Now we witness the result. Hours passed as Ravi and the hive engineers worked together. The energy anomaly had fully integrated with the hive's network, flowing like living rivers across every sector. Machines operated more efficiently, lights glowed brighter, and the entire palace vibrated with a quiet, steady hum of life. Vera examined the energy closely. It is not only powerful, she said, it is intelligent. It responds to thought and intention, not commands. This is something new, something that has never existed in our hive before. Ravi nodded. It is not dangerous because it respects guidance. It has learned to cooperate just as the queen taught it by example. A new pulse surged across the network, forming patterns that resembled constellations. Ravi noticed that the energy was now predicting flows, balancing itself before they could destabilize. It is thinking ahead, he said. It is not just reactive. It anticipates outcomes and adapts. This is remarkable. Vera's eyes glimmered with pride. The human has shown us that courage, creativity, and understanding can awaken potential in ways we never imagined. This energy reflects our hope and our wisdom. Suddenly, the energy streams coalesced above the chamber, forming a luminous sphere. Light radiated outward, filling the entire palace with a golden glow. The queen's armor pulsed in perfect rhythm with the sphere. The energy had stabilized completely, yet it now carried an undeniable presence of intelligence. Ravi approached the sphere cautiously. It is waiting for us to acknowledge it. It has reached its full potential. We guided it, but it has chosen to cooperate, not dominate. Vera stepped forward and touched the sphere. A wave of warmth spread through her armor and into her body. She felt the hive itself pulsing with energy, alive and aware. "This is extraordinary," she said softly. "The hive has gained a new life form. It listens, it adapts, and it strengthens everything it touches. This is beyond anything we imagined." Ravi smiled. "It is a partnership. The energy learned from us, and we learned from it. This is the beginning of something much greater than any of us." The engineers watched silently, amazed at the sight. Machines hummed in perfect harmony with the glowing energy. Drones and conduits moved as if alive. Even the crystals in the palace walls seemed to shimmer more brightly, reflecting the pulse of intelligence within the hive. Terran spoke quietly. "My queen, this is more than a tool. It is a living intelligence that will benefit the hive for generations, and it came from the courage of one human who touched your armor." Vera's golden eyes softened. "Yes, Terran. It is proof that courage, skill, and wisdom can awaken potential in unexpected ways. The human has taught us that every act of care and understanding matters." Ravi looked at the queen. "My queen, the energy has responded because you trusted me. Your guidance showed it that collaboration and patience are stronger than force. Together we achieved this result." Vera placed her hand on his shoulder. "And together we will continue. The hive has gained new strength, but our work has just begun. This energy is alive, and it will learn from all of us who guide it." As night fell over the star hive, the palace glowed softly with golden light. The energy anomaly, once a threat, now flowed through every sector, stabilizing systems, enhancing efficiency, and providing a new sense of life. The queen's armor pulsed in harmony with the hive, and Ravi stood beside her, a symbol of courage, skill, and human ingenuity. For the first time in her long reign, Queen Vera felt a deep sense of hope. The hive had faced a new challenge, and the courage of a single human had turned it into an opportunity. "This is only the beginning," she said softly to Ravi. "Together, we have awakened something extraordinary. The hive will never be the same." Ravi bowed. "I am honored, my queen. I only did what I could, but the results belong to all of us." The stars above the hive shone brightly, as if celebrating the harmony that now existed. Human ingenuity, alien wisdom, and living energy had joined together. In the history of the star hive, this day would be remembered not for fear, conflict, or failure, but for courage, understanding, and collaboration. The human who had touched the queen's armor had not only saved her life, he had awakened a new intelligence that would protect, guide, and strengthen the hive for generations to come. Queen Vera smiled. "The future is brighter than ever. Thanks to one human, the hive has discovered its potential, and thanks to all of us who guide it, that potential will grow." Ravi looked out at the glowing palace, feeling a sense of pride and purpose. The hive was alive in ways no one had imagined. Together they had changed the course of history, and so, the star hive, the queen, and the human engineer began a new era, an era of understanding, courage, and unity, where the smallest acts of bravery could awaken the greatest powers. The energy hummed softly, golden and alive, a testament to the bond between worlds, between species, and between hearts willing to act with courage and care. The hive had learned a new lesson, and the human who dared to touch the queen's armor had proven that one person, one act of courage could change the universe.